Yo, what's going on? This is Ty here for week 6 picks in the NFL. These are my picks. Um, I actually did pretty good last week. I won 200 off of $5. So, yeah, I got banned on Sunday. Somebody reported the channel, and so I guess I can't be doing that anymore on Twitch. So sorry about that. Hopefully you guys still follow, and you know, I mean, I like to talk about football, so you guys can come on here, give me your input on who you think is gonna win. I do sports betting. This is what it looks like generally. I do a multiple amount of cards. I do the regular half point parlay. I do the teaser parlay and reverse teaser sometimes. So this is the half point parlay. This is what I'm going to go over today for my picks, and we'll see where it goes. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you watch this afterwards, that's fine too. It will be posted on Twitch and Facebook. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these week 6 picks. So these are the lineups for this week. As you can see, I already have mine highlighted. This is my $5 league. You can still get in. We take people all season long. It's just $5 a week. Whoever wins that wins the pot for that week. Last week I only had 3 people last week because some people forgot to put their bets in, but usually about $20 a week. Not bad. $5 put in. So this is my picks for week 6. I am going to go over each of them and give my input on it. So let's go ahead and start with the Atlanta versus Minnesota Vikings game. Falcons. All right, so we got the 0-5 Falcons versus the 1-4 Minnesota Vikings. Vikings have won one of their 3 in their last games. Of course, Falcons have not won any games. They suck so bad, and they just fired their head coach too. So you already know this is going to be a difficult game for them. So of course, I had to go with the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings almost beat the undefeated Seahawks 26-27 last week. So definitely a team that I pretty much, this is a gimme pick, I think. Falcons, like I said, they're 0-4 with a new head coach, and they lost last week to the Panthers 16-23. Vikings are home, so I'm picking the Vikings straight up. And against the spread, which is -3.5, I'm going with the Vikings. And if I had to pick over and under, it would have been under 55. I'm not a big over and under picker. Like I told my brother, I stay away from those. He actually messed up his ticket by picking the over and under. So just heed my warnings. Do not go with over and unders unless you absolutely have to last minute. I'm just checking back and forth because some of my point spreads might be off, like the Titans and Texans is still to be determined. But far as the parlay card goes, the Vikings are still at -3.5. Whenever you see a negative, that means they're favored. So I'm going with the favorite home team, Vikings. Also, some of the key injuries, there we see it right there. Falcons, they got Julio Jones out. Well, he's questionable with his hamstring, but if you ever had a hamstring injury, you probably won't be coming back from that for a few weeks. Their defensive end is also questionable. So Vikings actually have a lot of people that's injured too. Their star running back Dalvin Cook is injured, but I think Kirk Cousins will still just throw all over top of the Atlanta Falcons. They just do not have their stuff together. So we'll see about that. Next game up is Baltimore Ravens versus the Philadelphia Eagles. As you can tell, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm pretty much never pick the Eagles if I have the chance to, and I'm definitely not picking them this week. Baltimore Ravens will probably blow out the Eagles. Ravens come in at 4-1 versus the Eagles 1-3-1. They are 3-1 in their last 3 games, 2-0 on the road, so that's key as they are traveling to Philadelphia. It's not a long ride for them; it's still about a state away. The experts are giving Philadelphia the +8 for the point spreads. I don't agree with that. Like I said, I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to blow them out. They are such a powerhouse team. It's really hard to even slow them down. They had that one fluke game where they lost, but I can't see them losing against the Eagles. Ravens won last week 27-3 against the Bengals. Eagles lost to the Steelers 29-38. They actually had a pretty good game against them for the most part. They were pretty tied with them. Actually, I think they were even leading at one point. But Steelers came back and beat them. So I'm picking straight up Ravens. Even against the spread, I'm going with the Ravens with 8 points. I'm going to say they're going to score over 47.5 points. If you look at their average points, Ravens score average of 30 versus the Eagles with 21. So that's about 51 points. So I'm going to go with the averages, what they're going to score, and go ahead and pick the over. This is my lock pick, so if you're looking for, I'm going to go over my lock picks too, but this is one of them that I will put them on all my tickets if I have to. Another reason, look at the Eagles' injury report. Deshaun Jackson, I don't remember the last time he played. He's always hurt. Alshon Jeffrey, so there goes 2 of their star wide receivers right there. Their cornerback, Darius Slay. There goes part of their secondary with Avonte Maddox. So all these are listed as questionable. We'll see if it changes. I still don't think the Eagles have a chance of beating them. Not just because I don't like the Eagles, but it's the Ravens. They're not going to beat the Ravens. All right, next game, Chicago Bears versus Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my tidbits on this. So this is a game I would stay away from if you're in the betting field. This is one of those games that can go either way. Even though the Bears do look good with Nick Foles, Panthers also look good with Teddy Bridgewater. The Bears did edge the Bucks over 20-19, which was a really close game, going in there trying to go against Tom Brady. Panthers beat the sucky Falcons 23-16, so that really don't tell us too much about those two squads. There goes some more of the stats there. The experts are picking Carolina to win by 2.5. Me personally, whenever it's a real close game, I like to go with the team that has the points. So I went straight up Bears winning this one, and against the spread, I'm going to take the points with the Bears 2.5. And I'm going to say this game is going over 44.5. The average right there, 21 for Bears and 24.8 for the Panthers. It just depends on how these teams come out here. I just really can't believe the Bears are 4-1 though, but we'll see how that plays out. I have a feeling they're going to beat them. But like I said, this is one of those games that I would stay away from sports betting unless you're absolutely confident in who you think is going to win that one. And Panthers are home. Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback now, so if it was Cam Newton there, of course I'd be going for the Panthers, but Teddy Bridgewater, he's good, but he definitely has some work to do. All right, next one up is Cincinnati Bengals versus the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are at home. They are 2-0 at home versus the Bengals, who is just playing trash. I don't even know how they even got a win so far. 1-2-1. Of course, all the odds are going against for the Colts. The Colts have an 8-point spread. The over and under is 46.5, averaging about 25 points per game. Cincinnati averaging about 24.8, so they're about even with points wise. A little slight advantage for points against them and yards against per game. Injury report: not as many injured key players for the Colts as the Bengals are. They have a lot of questionable players, very key players, especially star wide receiver AJ Green. Let me go ahead and go over my picks. Colts are at home, so they lost to the Browns 32-23. Bengals Bengals were blown out by the Ravens 27-3. They just the times that I was checking those scores, it was still 0 points for a long time. So, I mean, if the Bengals came back and won this game, I'd be so surprised. I'd probably stop betting because you just would never know where these scores are going to go. Also, the Bengals have a rookie quarterback that I don't think he's quite ready. He's definitely not a Phillip Rivers. So I went up straight up Colts, and I'm going to take the Colts in point spread -8. And I'm going to say this game is going to be over 46.5. I think Phillip Rivers is going to score most of those points to kind of push them over that 46.5 mark. But like I said in the beginning, I don't pick over and under. So, I mean, that's up to you guys. If you do that, don't go by my picks because I have no idea. Oh, appreciate it, Nathan. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm done with PSL, so just trying to get back into real life. Alright, so next game we got up is Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Browns are coming in 4-1, Pittsburgh coming in at 4-0. So this is another game that if you're a bettor, stay away from. I mean, I have no clue how this game is going to go. We don't know if the powerful Steelers is going to show up or if the powerful Browns team is going to show up. I mean, they put the work in on my Cowboys. And, you know, I still don't know if the Browns are the real deal. Like, let me know in the chat what y'all think. If y'all think the Browns is the real deal or y'all think they just getting lucky, not playing that good of teams and stuff. So my picks for this one, I actually went with the Steelers. I feel like they're the more consistent team out of the two. And like I said, this is just a game I would stay away from. This is a conference game between these two, so it's definitely going to be a real hard-fought game. Both teams are actually pretty good. Steelers won last week 38-29 over the Eagles versus the Browns, who won over the Colts 32-23. And I believe Mayfield was listed as questionable on the injury list, so that'll be interesting to see who's going to come in for them if they can't get Baker Mayfield. And it's ribs, so as a quarterback, they definitely need that. And I don't know, even if he does play, if he's even going to play 100%. So I expect them to run the ball a lot more than their passing game, which might fall back on them. Steelers will probably tighten up on that run game. So, I mean, but we see a lot of the O-line for Steelers out too. There's the average right there, 31 to the Browns, 26 to the Steelers. So, I mean, they said the strength of their schedule, they're only 3 teams different, so I don't know. Both teams combined 7-2 over and under. I'm taking the over. All right, so Swaggy says he's taking the over on this game. The over-under is 51. And I picked over, too. I said the score would probably be about 53. So, yeah. Looks like we agree on that one. We'll go to the next game. And Pittsburgh is home, so I picked Pittsburgh, too. It's pretty hard to beat them at home. Next game, Broncos versus the Patriots. I feel so bad for the Broncos. At one point, they had such high hopes and stuff. They coming in at 1-3 versus the Patriots 2-2, who Cam Newton is back. So he's coming back from testing positive for COVID. Let's see how he plays. Let's see if he actually got his strength and ready to play. I'm a big fan of Cam Newton. If you ever talked to me or met me, you know that I like Cam Newton. So I'm going to ride his back the whole time. I don't even know who the Broncos have. I don't even know who's on their team. I believe their quarterback is hurt. Their tight end is hurt. Their wide receiver is hurt. Their nose tackle is hurt. I don't even know who's left on that team anymore. Patriots got quite a few people messed up, too. So this is definitely going to be an interesting game. I did go ahead and pick the Patriots on this one. Broncos beat the Jets, which is a nobody team, 37-28, so we know they can score. And Pats lost against the Chiefs, 26-10. I believe that was week 4 also. So I picked Pats straight up against the spread. I picked the Pats minus 9.5. That's a large point spread. So whenever you see a point spread like that, you got to be definitely confident with that one. Definitely think that it might be a blowout. So that's why I picked the Pats with 10 points. Over and under. I put this under 46 points. That probably is a mistake. It probably will go over that. So, again, I'm not that confident with over and unders. So, use those picks wisely if you do that. That Pats minus 9.5, I'm a little questionable about. Let me see if it's still that. All right, so they moved it down to 8.5 now. So, I mean, that's still a lot of points. 9 points is a lot for any kind of NFL game, especially when you don't know how it's going to go. I think that the Patriots will come back strong on this game. Next game is Detroit Lions versus the Jaguars. Both of these teams suck again. 1-3 Lions, 1-4 Jacksonville. 1-3 in their last 3 games for Detroit. So is the Jaguars. And like I said, this is another toss-up game here. Jags do got a lot of injuries here. Lions lost to the Saints 35-39, which, I mean, that's a good fought game right there. Saints ain't no joke, and Lions were able to keep up with them. Jaguars lost to the Bengals of all teams. We just talked about them, 33-25. And I'm just a big fan of Stafford. I feel like he can lead that Lions team. They're probably a little bit better than what their record shows. So I went with the Lions straight up, and I'm going to pick them against the spread, which they have negative 3.5. And I'm going to go under 54.5. I don't think they're going to score that many points against the Jaguars with them combined. There is their average right there. So that's about 47 if you combine both their average. And Jaguars hurt. A lot of people hurt on the Jaguars. So I'm definitely going with the Lions. I actually locked this pick. This is one of my favorite lineups. Even though I said it's going to be a toss-up game, but I went ahead and locked this pick. This is one that I would put on my ticket. All right, next game is Houston versus Tennessee. You already see my pick was Tennessee. This is just a no-brainer. Like, I don't even know how you can even pick the Texans against the Titans. I don't even know what happened to the Texans. They lost D-Hop and they just went downhill from there. Didn't they lose their coach too? I think their coach got fired, so they just all over the place. They don't know what they're doing. I feel like Titans are the real deal right now. They beat the Bills 42-16 last week and just were the juggernaut team. Like, they are going to be so unstoppable. Texans did beat the Jaguars, but it was the Jaguars 30-14 for their first win. To me, this is Titans all over. You got to pick Titans straight up. You got to pick the Titans against the spread. I believe they're trying to put that spread to be determined now because of the situations that happen. Vegas know how to play you, man. They be changing stuff at the last minute, closing games. Which I'm glad last week they closed that game because I actually picked the Bills last week to beat the Titans, but they ended up closing that game, and I won my ticket. I don't know which ticket I was going to put them on, but I ended up going with the Ravens, like plus 10 or minus 10.5 or whatever it was. So there's the points per game combo, 26.7 to 20. Titans only had one person on the injury list versus the Texans with 3. Like I said, to me, this is a gimme game. I'm going to lock my pick in for the Titans and say they're going to score under 55 because Jaguars probably won't score that much, and it will just be a Titan showdown. Next game, Washington football team versus the Giants. I've been talking to Swaggy about this one. He picked that the Giants are going to lose. I actually think the Giants are going to win their first game this week against Washington football team. But I'll tell you why. I'm pretty sure I understand why Swaggy would pick Washington to win. Alex Smith comes back in. He came back in last week, and I think they're trying to get him a little more comfortable in the pocket and stuff after his terrible injury. He does look like he's going to come back out there pretty strong. Giants are pretty much the worst team in the NFL right now. They're literally one spot from the worst. But the way that they played my Cowboys last week, I thought that, they were pretty... I don't know if it was because it was a conference game. Like, they had that rivalry there with them. But this, too, is a conference game, and the Giants are at home, which I think they have people in their stands. So I think that it will swing the momentum to them. And like I said, they got a whole bunch of injuries, both of their quarterbacks. So Alex Smith is probably going to play in this game. They got Devontae Freeman for the Giants at running back. I think he's going to run all over the Washington Redskins. So, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Giants to get their first win here this week. They only lost to the Cowboys by 3, which I said they put up a great fight there. Washington lost to the Rams 30-10. Washington doesn't even have a real name, and we don't even know who they're going to put in at quarterback because they're like back and forth between Haskins. They say he's quote-unquote sick, but I've read reports that he done unfollow Washington on his Twitter, and I read reports that he's going to be traded soon. So it seems like there's some drama going on with the Redskins or Washington team. Sorry, not Redskins. So I don't think they got their stuff together. I don't think they're ready for this game. So I'm going straight up with the Giants. I'm going to pick the Giants against the spread with a minus 3-point spread. And I'm going to say this game is going to be over 43 points. It's a conference game. I know for the NFC East that our teams usually play each other pretty hard and score big. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. I wanted to lock this game, but like I said, with Alex Smith at quarterback, he's a pretty good quarterback. I just don't know with his previous injuries that if he's going to be up to the task or whatever. So that's up to you guys if you want to pick that game or lock it in. But that might be one of the games I might stay away from just because there's too many unknown factors with that game. But there you guys go. There's the stats for that game, the injury report. So I'll let you guys be the judge. Washington defense is pretty good for the most part, so that game could definitely go either way. Alright, we're almost done, you guys. Next game is the Jets versus the Dolphins. This is just a laughable game. Jets is just trash. Like, there's no other way to put it. They're 0-4, 0-2 away, 32 in the power rankings, meaning they're dead last in the NFL. They are the worst team in the NFL right now. Dolphins come in at 2-3. They're 1-3 in their last 3 games. Their home record is 0-2, surprisingly, but they're ranked 19th. The experts are predicting that the Dolphins are going to win by 9. There's the over and under of 47.5. Here's the injury report between these two. So, of course, Jets quarterback Sam Darnold is injured, along with their wide receiver and cornerback tackle. A couple injuries for the Dolphins. I actually like Fitzgerald at the quarterback position for the Dolphins. Everybody calls it Fitzgerald magic. He definitely will put on a show against the Jets. And this is one of my lock picks. I think that the Dolphins are going to run away with it. Like I said, if this is not an easy win for the Dolphins, I don't know what else to say. With the Jets being the last team in the league, Dolphins rolled over the 49ers 43-17 last week. Didn't even think twice about beating them. Jets lost to the Cardinals 30-10. And like I said, Jets just look like trash. They don't have nobody. Their quarterback is hurt. Straight up, going to go with the Dolphins. Even I'm going to pick the Dolphins against the spread. Even if it's 8.5, 9.5, 10, I'm picking the Dolphins. And I'm going to pick them under 47.5 points. I think the Dolphins will win, but I don't know if they're going to score a lot of points. So that's my pick for that game. And Dolphins are home. Next game, Green Bay Packers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of the games I would stay away from because you don't know what Tom Brady is going to show up in this game. So, Green Bay Packers on a roll, 4-0 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-2. They are home, but you see that little icon up there. It looks like a chance of rain. I don't know how well Aaron Rodgers plays in the rain. I mean, he can play in the snow, so I assume he can play pretty well in the rain. But both of these teams do have a lot of injuries on their squad. 38 points per game for the Packers and 27.8 points for the Buccaneers. I went ahead and picked the Packers straight up. I am going to pick the Packers with the point spread +2. And I'm going to say this game is going to be a shootout. I'm going to pick the over 54. I pick Aaron Rodgers over Brady any day, especially after he then left the Patriots. I feel like he's just not the same Tom Brady that we're used to seeing. But that could be because he's got a crazy team. His team does not read him very well. I don't think they really get along with him. So I think there's some issues there for him in the Tampa Bay. I don't really think anybody can stop the Packers. They're 4-0 for a reason. Packers beat the Falcons 30-16 in Week 4, and the Bucs just lost to the Bears 19-20 last week. So I bet they're feeling a little salty there. So we'll see what happens here. I don't know if I'm really going to pick this game or not, but that point spread with 2.5 right there, it's so tempting. I mean, these are whenever Las Vegas puts a 2.5 point spread, that's to like pretty much trick you up, man. Because usually if they pretty much know who's going to win, they'll put a 3.5 point spread, or they'll put a 1.5 point spread. But when they are like iffy about stuff, they do that 2.5 point spread. I don't like that. So that's one of those toss-up games that even Vegas is probably like, they know who they think is going to win, but then they at the same time, they're like, yeah, we don't know for sure. So be cautious when picking that game. But I did pick Green Bay. All right, so next game, Rams versus San Francisco. Rams coming in 4-1 versus the 49ers 2-3. Rams are 3-1 in their last 3 games. 49ers are 2-2. They just lost pretty bad against the Dolphins, so I don't even question this game on who's going to win this. Injury report looks horrible for the 49ers. They don't got a quarterback. Their middle linebacker, Quan Alexander. Their cornerback, Emmanuel Mosley. DJ Jones. Not too many big key components for the Rams. They will probably shut down the 49ers. Again, this is going to be one of my locked-in picks. It's the Rams. What else can you say about them? The Rams beat Washington 30-10, and 49ers took a loss in Week 4 against the Eagles 25-20. Like I said, too many injuries for the 49ers. So straight up Rams. I'm going to pick Rams against the point spread, which is actually 2.5 now, I think, right? 3.5. So no, it's still 3.5 point spread and under 51.5. And I'm going to lock in that pick for that team. 49ers are home. All right, 2 more matchups. Kansas City Chiefs 4-1 versus the Buffalo Bills 4-1. Man, this game. If the Bills didn't play like they played last week against the Titans, I would say this game is going to be a great game. But I don't know. I don't know how the Bills are going to come out. I don't know if they got exposed last week when they played the Titans, or if they actually are a pretty good team and they're actually going to play right against the Chiefs. I know one thing, the Chiefs upset me last week because they lost to the Raiders. And I know a lot of people that had the Chiefs on their tickets and thought that would be a walk in the park for them, and they just let everybody down. So I think the Chiefs got a little grudge on their shoulders. I think they're going to be looking for revenge in this game. Like I said, they lost against the Raiders last week, 40-32. And the Bills also lost, but they lost bad, 42-16 against the Titans. So I think Mahomes is going to come in here and show off. The Bills defense is a little bit off. That injury report for the Bills, key quarterback, Tre'Davious White, it really showed in that game against the Titans. I thought that they struggled back there in the secondary without him. And so I don't know if they're even going to show up. And maybe that the Chiefs might blow them out. So I went with the straight up with Chiefs. And I picked Chiefs against the spread, -3.5. But I did say this game is going to go under 57.5. That's just a lot of points. I mean, the teams are pretty much scoring 28 points apiece with I mean, it's definitely possible. Look at their averaging points per both of these teams. So we'll see how it goes. Bills are home. So Kansas City traveling over there to New York. I just don't know. Power rankings put Chiefs in the 4th spot. I'm sure Buffalo Bills was out there and they dropped down to the 8th spot. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely one of those games I probably would stay away from. I don't even know if they have the point spread for them. Yeah, so you see here, it's still to be determined because I don't even think Vegas thought that Bills would lose that bad to the Titans, or the fact that the Chiefs will lose to the Raiders. So that's probably why those are to be determined. Last game, my Cowboys versus the Cardinals. So this was so hard to pick. Dak Prescott just got hurt. He's praying for speedy recovery for our quarterback. It was just so hard to pick against the Cowboys, but I had to go for the Cardinals here. They're 2-2 in their last 3 games versus the Cowboys 1-3. The experts are giving Dallas the point spread. They're giving them plus 2.5. They think they're going to win or not lose by more than 3. So to me, I don't think so, especially with our change in quarterback. Andy Dalton, he's a veteran quarterback, but he has to get used to being back in a starting position with a new offense, new coach, and just new teammates. He has the squad to make stuff happen, but if you don't know how to use your squad, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't think our average is going to be 31.5 in that game. So, and Cardinals, I haven't really watched them this season, so I don't really know too much about them. But, I mean, there's our key piece right there, our quarterback, Dak Prescott. We got a lot of people coming back this week, though. So, I mean, this game could go to the Cowboys. I hate picking against them. This is definitely one of those games that I'd stay away from. Even if I wasn't a Cowboys fan, I'd stay away from this game. Because it's just one of those games that definitely could go either way. Both teams, almost similar records. Similar play styles, actually. I think that Kyler Murray does a lot of the same stuff that Dak used to do, but with Andy Dalton back there, I don't know what they're going to do. So I went straight up with Arizona Cardinals. I even took the points for Cardinals minus 2.5, and I said this game is going to be under 54.5. So, like I said, I hate to say it, I hate to see it, that I don't think the Cowboys are ready for the Cardinals' defense. Dak is out, and our offense is going to struggle a little bit. I've seen them being a little calm and not being that aggressive with Andy Dalton. Our defense has been absent all year long. I have no clue what's going on with the Cowboys defense. I think maybe because our secondary is coming back this week, so hopefully that will help them out a lot. The Cardinals did beat the Jets 30-10, but I mean that's the Jets, so that's not really telling us anything. And the Cowboys barely beat the Giants 37-34. I don't know what's up with them. We'll start off real slow and we have to play from behind and then try to catch up to teams. I don't get that. We should be playing hard all 4 quarters and never have to keep trying to come back on teams. Every single game I've watched, they struggle from the get-go. So, I mean, those are my picks for this week. Again, these are my locked-in picks. These are the picks that I would definitely put on your tickets. I'm going to have to say the Ravens, Lions, Titans, Dolphins, Rams. If I had $50 to put on a ticket, I would put these 5 teams and put them on one ticket. So, I mean, look at the payout for that with 5 teams. If I put even $5 on there, that's $100. So $50, that's $1,000 with those 5 teams. So I mean, if you can afford it, that's the teams I would pick on there. So it just depends on what you want for your point spreads or how many teams you want on there. And like I said, I don't do over and unders, so I try to stay away from them. I also, one of my other tricks I do is a 1 o'clock ticket. So I would go through all these 1 o'clock games and pick teams, so you'll know by 4 o'clock if you got a winner or not. I mean, that's what I did last week. I was waiting on the Steelers game, and lo and behold, they won, and I cashed in my $200 ticket. I was happy. I only put $5 on there. I think I had 6 teams on there for that. Yeah, I had 6 teams for $5, so I'm giving you 5 teams right there that I think is going to win. I think that it'll be like no question about those teams. And I actually kind of like the point spreads this week. They're pretty low. You have your blowout games that Vegas think is going to blow out is the Ravens and then the Patriots. So whenever you see in the Dolphins game, whenever you see like a 9-point spread, that's pretty much Vegas saying they think they're going to blow them out, which is 3 of the teams in my lock pick. So those are definitely teams I would go for, especially the Ravens. You know they're capable of scoring 30 points on the team. It's not that hard for them to score over 9 points. Dolphins, I think they can do the 9 points. I think that considering they're going against the Jets, I think they definitely could get the 9 points. Patriots, this is a questionable one. I mean, I know I picked against the spread. I said I would do Patriots minus 8.5, but looking at it again, Broncos, I don't know. I don't know too much about the Broncos, but if I had to pick, I would go ahead and pick the Patriots 8.5. One thing I don't like is how they moved that 1 o'clock game underneath the 4 o'clocks. Like, that's part of my 1 o'clock ticket. Like, push it up. I don't know why they do stuff like that. And now we got these odd days on Mondays. We got 8:15 and a 5 o'clock game. So that's going to be a little weird. I believe we even had a Tuesday game last week. So those are my picks. These are the picks for my league right now. And these are the percentage of, I think these are combined user percentages for all across the world. So 89% think Vikings will win, 96% Baltimore. This is a close game. That's one of the toss-up games I said, but 54% think the Bears are going to win, 94% for the Colts, 79% for Pittsburgh, 96% for Patriots, 65% for Detroit, 93% for Tennessee, 63% for Giants versus the Washington Redskins. So, Swaggy, if you're still watching, I don't know. America seems to think that the Giants going to win this one. 99% for Miami Dolphins versus the Jets. Like, nobody thinks that the Jets have a chance. So, that's another thing Vegas does when, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but for some reason, when people like 100% think a team is going to win, it's usually the opposite. So, I don't want to jinx you. I don't want to mess up your train of thoughts or anything. But just stick with your gut. My gut says that the Dolphins are going to win. They're going to blow them out. So, it's all up to you. Stick with your gut. That's my biggest thing. Go with your first instinct, who you think is going to win. Don't wish-you-wash the picks because you're going to be mad at yourself that you picked the right team on one ticket and then the next ticket you messed up by switching it up. stick to the same picks. If you think one of the other teams is going to win on your other pick, then change that one pick. Don't change all of the picks. I've seen it happen. I see people completely pick the opposite of what they picked on one, and it messes their whole ticket up. Green Bay, 80%, Rams, 90%, Kansas City, 86%, and Arizona by 70%. So, and no, I didn't go by the percentage. I picked by who I think is going to win. So, it looks like America agrees with me for the most part. Let's talk about some of the other parlay cards we got. One of my favorite ones is the teaser. It's the yellow card if you live in Delaware. I don't know if other states have it. I'm not a big college person, so I don't really know too much about that. But what I like about the teasers is that the point spreads are better. It doesn't have a bigger payout like the regular parlay, but you can pick 7 teams, $10 for one per $1. So you can put $10 on a 17 parlay and be getting $100. And it's easier to pick 7 teams out of these groups. Especially, one thing I hate is when they give you point spreads like the Jets plus 15.5. So that means that the Jets can't lose by more than 16, which is definitely possible. The Jets definitely could lose by more than 16, so I'd stay away from that one. As tempting as it sounds, I actually made that mistake, I believe, week 2 or week 1 with the Colts. I believe it was. They had like a plus 18.5 point spread, something like real crazy. Like you'd be thinking like, ain't no way they're gonna lose by more than 19 points. And they did. They lost by like 23 points. I was so livid. It was my last team. So my rule of thumb is to pick like between 6 to 7 teams per ticket that you do. And, you know, I mean, if you have the money and the means to pick a $100 ticket or $50 ticket, the less teams, more money, the more likely you're going to have a big payout. So, I mean, if I was doing that regular parlay and I had $50 to put on a ticket, I would do as less teams as possible. I mean, like I said, if you pick the 5 teams for $50, that's $1,000. Or you can even pick 4 teams, $50. I mean, you're getting half of that. So, I mean, that's a really good payout right there. You just got to be pretty confident with it. Stick to your first instincts. Try not to be fooled by the big plus. I mean, sometimes you do get it. One of the other tickets that I really like is the reverse teaser. That's the pink card. It only does pro, so you have to... I usually stick to going on the right side first. I'll look here to see if I see any teams that I kind of like that I think might win. None of those teams really stick out to me except for the Browns maybe. But the payout for the reverse teaser is pretty good. You can have 3 teams, $5. That's $1,000 or $100 right there. You could do 5 teams for $5, and that's $1,000. So, but here's the tricky part about the reverse is you can not win on any of the teams that you select. Like on the other tickets, you can win on either one. But on here, there's a chance that you can't win. But you just have to do your research and be careful with this. I mean, as far as the reverse for this one, I'd probably pick the Packers, Ravens, Dolphins, and maybe even the Lions. I mean, that's 4 teams right there. I probably will fill out one this week because these are, you know, when they have these 14.5 point spreads, that basically means that team needs to win by 15 points. So it just depends. Like the Ravens, I feel like that might be a little bit too much, especially because they're playing the Eagles. You just never know which Eagle team is going to show up. So use caution when you're doing those picks with those different cards and stuff. Again, these are my lock picks: Ravens, Lions, Titans, Dolphins, Rams. My individual picks: Cardinals, Chiefs, Rams, Green Bay, Dolphins, Giants, Titans, Lions, Pats, Steelers, Colts, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. So I even picked them for the point spread too. So if you want to write those down, this stream is always saved, so you can go back to it if you want to look through it. One of my things I like to use is just CBS Sports. Their matchup analysis. They got some good statistics here. They got the injury reports here. I also use Bleacher Report. It's got a lot of the like in locker room type stuff. Text you after these picks. We gotta talk about these picks. Man, what's wrong with my picks? You clowning my picks again, Swaggy. But no, I appreciate your input and stuff. Like I listen and stuff before I go and pick stuff. So, I mean, these games are on Sunday. You still got some time to really dig into them and try to figure out what you want to put on your cards. I try not to spend more than $20 a week, unless I'm feeling extra lucky, or if I had some extra money, I might put a little bit more, but $20 is enough to get you a good chunk of change back. Like I said, last week I put $25 in, but the one ticket I did win, I only had $5 on it, and I won $200. So, I mean, that's a really good payout. $195 profit off of $5. In no way, shape, or form am I telling you guys to go gamble. But, you know, this is something I like to do. Some girls like to go shopping and, you know, buy clothes, buy purses and shoes. Me, I'm a football person. I like to bet. So I can't wait for football season, and it's here. And I'll be here next week to go over week 7 picks. Also, a little recap about week 6 to see how we did on our picks. So I'm interested in hearing from you guys on what you think your picks are going to be for this week. So if you haven't already, come and join my Discord. Hit me up on Facebook. I've got Facebook, Twitch channels, you name it. So just join in there. Believe the Discord link. No, not at all. I'm going to put the Discord link there so you guys can join in. Or maybe it doesn't do it from Facebook. I don't know, but somewhere on my Twitch channel there's a Discord link. I'm going to have to add it to my Facebook too so that you guys can join in and give your input on who you think is going to win. Hopefully I can get a large amount of people that we can start getting a panel together and post that about that. But that is it for me. I appreciate you guys tuning in and coming over, showing your support. Hopefully we'll get more people in here, more input, not just mine. And you guys have a great rest of your night. Looking forward to speaking with all you guys. Just want to talk is all. Oh, okay. And I will see you guys next week. Peace. Good luck.